It's Criterion Creeps podcast. And tonight, J-Dog, we are talking about a little film from 1993. Directed by Richard Linklater. Some refer to as Rick Linklater, which I didn't know.
Who?
Ben Affleck calls him Rick.
Oh my goodness! Of course
in
he
the
does.
making of documentary. And
do you think Ben Affleck's the only person that calls him that?
No, like they were all calling him Rick, and I was like, Rick. I was like, wouldn't Rich be the shortened for Richard? But they all call him Rick apparently.
Wait, wasn't Ben Affleck in Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused?
Well, that's the film we're talking about tonight, Jarrett.
Oh,
the 1993 film, Dazed and Confused, by director Rick Linklater.
Okay.
And the tagline, via Letterboxd, see it with a bud.
What does that mean?
And I think it's a drug thing, like buds, like dank buds.
Oh, but could you also see it with a buddy?
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, you should see it alone.
Yeah, I would see it alone.
see it in silence and
quiet. I would go all by yourself. And a synopsis, also via Letterboxd shirt. The adventure is of a group of Texas teens on their last day of school in 1976, centering on a student, Randall Floyd, who moves easily among stoners, jocks, and geeks. Floyd is a star athlete, but he also likes smoking weed, which presents a conundrum when his football coach demands he sign a no drugs pledge.
Oh boy.
Which I think is a bit of an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's about this Randall Flagg guy.
Randall Flagg? Well, Randall Pink Floyd is... Rick Linklater himself says that he is actually the underappreciated star of the film. But he said, but there is no star. They're all the star. But he said he's the anchor that brings them all together kind of thing. So this is a movie called Dazed and Confused, Jarrett.
Yeah.
And how do you usually do this? Do you go about what the movie is about?
Have you seen this movie before, RJ?
Jarrett, this is probably, out of all the Criterions, for sure, but amongst other non-Criterion films also, this is probably one of the most watched movies I have in my life.
Really?
I have seen Dazed and Confused. If I had to guess, and it wouldn't be an accurate guess, but I would say it would be over 20 times, probably.
But not over 9,000.
Not over. It's very hard to get over 9,000.
That would be very difficult.
This is what as we know as 90s sweat, VHS sweat. So I own this on VHS, and as friend of the show Ryan Nagel has pointed out, this is a movie I routinely forced people to watch when they came over to my house, like when we were younger. So it's like 13, 14 years old. People would come over, hang out at my house, have a sleepover, and I'd pull out the VHS and I'd pop that fucker in and be like, we're watching Dazed and Confused. And they'd be like, I don't know what that is. And I'll be like, you're about to. And, click her right in.
And then would you pull out the bud?
Bud. I said, I got to see it with a bud. I'm not allowed to watch it alone.
That's your
no.
Bowl, that's your bowl sound?
No, I wasn't into that kind of stuff. Just cold ones.
Wearing a big tie-dye shirt with a big pot leaf on it.
No, I wasn't like Slater. I wasn't like that guy. I was more like Benny, like the guy who in the intro is making the paddle, the guy who just likes having a cold one. If I had to say I was like any of them, it'd be that guy, maybe.
Who would you say I'm like, RJ?
You are 100% either Adam Goldberg or the other guy that drive around looking for the party and talking about things like politics and other things they'd rather be doing than going to the party.
Tony Rapp?
Yes, Anthony Tony Rapp. You'd be either Tony Rapp or Adam Goldberg. I mean, you could also be Marissa Ribisi. Like, you got some red in your beard. So
hey, you know that Tony Rapp is in Star Trek Discovery?
What? As who?
He's playing Lieutenant Commander Paul Stamets.
The Paul Stamets?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Actually, I didn't know that. That's cool though. There is in the making of, the way it finishes is all of the actors. It's a supercut of them talking about what they made after Dazed and Confused, which is really weird because it's like look at how many good movies they were in afterwards. And you're like, I know. You're like, we all know.
Mm-hmm.
That was the point, right? But yeah, you would be one of those guys. And Oliver Granger is probably Nicky Cat, I would say.
Yeah, he's popping the shirt.
Yeah, he pops his tarp off and he says I'm a pothead, man. I like smoking marijuana. He says, what are you gonna do? And then he gets some.
Oh, Oliver Granger doesn't do anything like that.
He's very aggressive. He might not seem like it, but in the messages he sends me, they are violently aggressive.
Wow.
Violently. So anyways, this is a movie, Jarrett. And
you've seen it.
I've seen it many, many times. Have you seen this film before, Jarrett?
I've seen this movie 3 times now.
3 times?
Yep.
Was one in your younger life, one in your middle life, and one now at the end of your life?
I came to this movie late.
That's too bad.
I watched it when I was starting to get into Richard Linklater movies. So I would have watched Waking Life probably earlier on that, and then Scanner Darkly. And then I finally got around to watching Dazed and Confused because I knew that it was a big deal to a lot of people that I really wasn't friends with.
I see.
This was not my kind of movie, and this wasn't the type of people who liked this movie that I grew up with. Because 1993, I was 10, and so by and nobody saw this movie in the theater. It should be pointed out. This movie was a bomb, or it barely broke even. But it has since become a milestone, touchstone for like 90s cinema. I believe like Tarantino lists as like one of the best movies of the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, every person I went to, school with by high school was like, this was like their favorite movie. There's people who had posters of Dazed and Confused on their wall after the fact. And I would just see this movie on video store shelves and I'd go, it doesn't look funny to me. Like this doesn't have Adam Sandler in it. This doesn't have Jim Carrey.
This isn't Hoobie Halloween.
I have honestly no idea why it took me so long to watch this movie, but it just was. Like it was 2005, 2006 probably by the time I did watch it.
Sure.
So like a ways away after, and I was, in my 20s when I did. And then I watched it like 5-6 years ago. Actually, something like about 6-7 years ago. And for no particular reason, and then now I have to watch it because I'm contractually obligated.
Yes, potentially. Okay, interesting background for you. But you're a Linklater guy, right? I mean, you didn't know he went by Rick, but you.
I'm not familiar with how casual you could actually approach him when talking about him. You just call him Rick.
I just call him Rick. I call him
actually. Well, I call him Stuart.
Stu?
It's his middle name. You didn't know that?
Like Father Stu?
So this guy's also a year younger than my dad.
Richard Linklater?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Do you think they would have been friends?
They would have partied, man.
They might have. You don't know.
Well, this is definitely like this. So this is a movie about like my parents' age group.
Yeah.
Because they were high school kids at the end, kind of the second half of the 70s. So it carries over.
Yeah, it's the same with Andrew. Her mom was in grade 12 in 76 or something like that. So
there you go.
It was this is our parents' era to an extent.
Boomers, RJ.
Boomer.
The tail end of the boom.
Yeah, but it's Americana, Jarrett. Americana, some would say. And I think, and I thought this before actually. I'm not just repeating it, but in the documentary they say it too. It's like the pitch for this was American Graffiti in the 70s, which was what I always thought. Yep. Because I've always mentioned too, like I love American Graffiti as well. I think that movie is really good. But I always thought that with this too. I was like, yeah, it's just American Graffiti in the 70s. And now people are trying to make that version of the 90s, but with middling success, right? We got lots of 90s stuff now, but nothing like Dazed and Confused or American Graffiti, I don't think. Unless you thought mid-90s captured that magic.
No, but what
I'm sure that's how it was pitched, though.
I just watched something that was like I thought a successful 90s movie because it seemed a lot more effortless than mid-90s felt very like trying very hard to convince you that it was the 90s, down to those Ninja Turtles bed sheets.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles is a good 90s movie. 1990.
Yeah.
For that matter.
Well, I mean, even like, Licorice Pizza, I think. Like, you haven't seen that yet. But
No.
that movie, I think you'll like a lot. Because when I was watching Dazed and Confused, I was like, yeah, this is kind of reminds me of Licorice Pizza now.
Yeah. So, but 90s sweat or 70s sweat?
70s.
70s sweat? Okay, I'm on board with that.
70s.
So, yeah, that was, that's what I always thought about this movie. But that's how they pitched it, too, apparently. This is Richard Linklater's second film, but it's his first studio film. So what happened was he made Slacker, and Slacker was a huge success, which we've already talked about. And then the company was like, or I can't remember who it was, Paramount or Universal or whatever. They're like, well, what do you got next? Because we want you to do something for us. And he's like, well, I'm thinking of this. Something like American Graffiti, but in the 70s. And they're like, awesome, come out and pitch it. And so he pitches it, and apparently they were like, yep, sounds good, let's roll. And summer in Texas, which is Linklater's stomping ground. So the cast is a bunch of actors who never really had done anything yet, never had big roles. So this was like their first role. And then a bunch of actors who weren't actors at all, and they were just people they found on the street. So like Wiley Wiggins, you know Wiley Wiggins, Jarrett? Mitch Kramer.
You mean kind of like Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Levitt, yes.
Similar hair, but
similar hair.
Not as much.
But particularly the third Rock from the Sun period.
Yes. Yeah. So like that kid apparently, they were just driving down the street in Texas, and they're like, hey, you want to be in a movie? And in the way he told it, he was kind of like, okay. He's like, I didn't really believe them, but then they actually brought me over, and I was in a movie.
Well, at least it wasn't Larry Clark.
Yeah. So, anyways, the movie was a mix of some actors who were trying but never had big ones, and then just a bunch of kids they found walking around the streets of Texas, and they're like, want to be in a movie? And they made like Wiley Wiggins like one of the leads, basically.
Yeah,
I'd say this movie's more about Mitch Kramer than it is about Randall Floyd.
Yeah, no, I would.
In my mind,
me too. I think Mitch is the most compelling character.
Yeah,
and like I would say felt like the protagonist.
Yeah, I agree. So this was Linklater's first studio movie, and then they talk a lot about how it was like he had never done that before, and it was basically fighting for his vision of what the movie was and trying to work with producers and stuff. And he's like, well, it was pretty good, but he's like, but they push on some things and you push back. And he's like, it was a good learning experience for all of us on like trying to make what you want and then kind of not like compromising, because he's like, it's still the movie we wanted to make. He's like, there were things we had to change, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So that was kind of how they set this up. They filmed it all over a summer. And you want me to talk about the movie now, Jarrett?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Okay. So this is a day in the life of Anywhere USA. It takes place in Texas, but it could be
a 24-hour period.
24-hour cycle in 1976 Texas, and it is the last day of school, baby. So there's a lot of buzz. And what you have is two kind of cast of characters. You have the grade 11s, the juniors that are going into the summer school, so in their grade 12.
Yep.
And then you have the second cast, which is the junior high kids that are now going to become the freshmen of the high school. So you have the ascending seniors of the high school, and then the new freshmen. And the way this movie plays out is It's got probably one of the smoothest intros, Jarrett, where that music kind of picks up, but it's on that black screen and sweet emotions going, and the black just kind of hard cuts. The black hard cuts out, and it's just that car pulling around in a parking lot.
How does that song go, RJ?
Woo. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
And it's and then sweet Marcia. It's kind of like that, Jared.
Okay.
And then the car, and you're like, ooh, shit. What's this movie about? And so you start at the high school, and you get introduced to a lot of the high school kids, and you see these new to be seniors prepping. So you got your guys like Jason London, Randall Pink Floyd, and he's the guy who floats between all the kind of groups. You got he's more of a jock, but he wants to be a stoner kind of thing.
But so do the jocks.
Yeah, they do too. Like, and honestly, I mean, that is kind of like groups do kind of mesh a little bit. Like they are like when I was in there were separate groups that mostly hung out together, but then when you would do big stuff like last day of school, you all kind of like weave together is what my experience was.
And
guy
then,
who's kind of, what?
And then what?
And then what? Oh, I was going to say, you're introduced to all the high school kids, or the high school characters, or most of them. You're introduced to him. You're introduced to Cole Hauser. Yeah, so that's that's Benny, I think. So Benny's the kid making the paddle, and you're just watching him, and he's making the paddle, and then you get introduced to a couple other characters. Like there's Dawson, the dude who wears the overalls, and he's the guy kind of going around trying to round everybody up because he's trying to round up the boys because they got to go to the junior high before school's done. And it's later explained to like they're football boys, so they can do whatever they want kind of thing. So they can walk around the school going here or there. And then you have a couple other like football guys. Like I think Tommy is the dude with he's one of the other football boys, right? Was his name Tommy or was it something else?
There is a Tommy.
I think Tommy's the dude with the afro. And then you have O'Banion, who's my boy Ben Affleck, and he is the main antagonist of the film. Him and Parker Posey are apparently the male and female antagonists of this film.
Yes.
So O'Banion, he's another football guy. He's a super senior, is what we call him up here in Creepsville. I don't know if other people know that. What that means is it's his second go at grade 12. So you have him, and then you get introduced to some of the ladies. So Simone, Joey Adams, that's Pink Floyd's like kind of girlfriend. You have Michelle Mila Jovovich. She's another girlfriend. She's kind of there. Marissa Ribisi, she's one of the nerd kids.
Well, Mila Jovovich
like,
has got to be the third biggest star
coming out of this.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because it'd be obviously the unmentioned Wooderson.
Yeah,
and then Big Ben, and then
Mila. Yeah, and she's like dating Pickford, who is the guy who's going to be having the party that night. I didn't mention him because he's one of the stoners. Yeah. So Pickford, Mila Jovovich, and then Rory Cochrane, who's Slater. Those are the three stoner people. And then you have the nerd people: Adam Goldberg, Tony Rapp, and Marissa Ribisi. And I think that's about it for the high schoolers.
Yeah.
You also have all the coaches and stuff. So you meet a couple teachers.
The
and
adults.
Coaches. Yeah, the adults. So the football coaches, they're kind of what you'd expect. They're just kind of like I don't know, hard ass guys. You also have Jody, who is Jody Kramer. She's the older sister of Mitch Kramer, and that's a big plot point because so all the high school,
all the high school boys.
Yeah, all the high school boys are getting rounded up, and one of the girls, Jody, she's like, "Hey, you know my brother Mitch? He's coming up," and she's like, "Take it easy on him. He's kind of little." And they're like, "Oh, we will. Don't worry. We'll take it easy on him." So then the high school boys go over to the junior high, and our boy Benny, he's got a truck. He's got a little PA system on there, like a little like speakerphone, and he's like, hey, listen up, you junior high bitches. I think he says something like that. And the junior high teachers are just laughing, and they're like, okay, here's the deal.
Yeah,
They're laughing. They're like, you've been tormenting us all year, and now we can laugh because you're going to get brutally mangled for the rest of the summer.
Wailed on by bigger people. Because hazing and initiation is A-OK in 1976.
It was here too until about 2009, and then they started giving police charges.
Well, it wasn't okay long before then.
But they weren't really dishing out police charges that I heard about until
I
mid 2000s.
I feel like it had phased out in the 90s, and then some hooligan types probably were, you know what, it's time we bring that back, and then the police had to be involved because fuck those people, RJ.
Yeah, I know you were were you involved in that, Jarrett?
I was hazing? Not. No, I wasn't actually.
Okay.
You avoided it. I avoided it, and I did not participate in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. People were wondering.
Yeah.
So I should mention the high school boys. What they want to do is they're doing hazing, so it's a sort of initiation. So the high school boys, the grade 12s, paddle the incoming high school boys, and when they go to the school, they're just like, okay, here's the deal. We have all summer. We'll get you eventually. If you come out right now, we'll take it easy on you. We'll just give you a couple. But if you run, whenever we do catch you, there's going to be a lot. And then that's where they say, and Mitch Kramer, we're coming for you, pal. So you come out here. And then you have a chase scene. So then you're introduced to the junior high kids. You get Mitch, who is Wiley Wiggins, who is, I think, the main protagonist of the movie, which we already discussed. And then you have his buddies like Carl and Hirschfielder and a couple other chowderheads. So they're all trying to run away. Some of them escape, some of them don't. You get a nice montage, Jarrett, of like cars peeling out, and just in the background you see kids getting paddled, and you go, okay, cool. So you have some of that, and then the girls, they start doing their hazing, which is more of a psychological hazing where they humiliate and torture the girls and dump shit on them like ketchup and mustard and flour and make them do embarrassing, like humiliating stuff to each other.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. So that's the female hazing. Mm-hmm. So you get a mix of that, and then so what's gonna happen next is that guy is gonna have a party, but his dad kind of finds out, so he stops it in a humorous scene. Kegs of beer getting delivered, and it's a no-go, my friend.
And then because the parents were going to go away for the weekend, and then it's like
the beer gets delivered early.
Yeah, and oh heck, no, I'm not going anywhere, Buster
Brown. Yeah, so that scraps that plan. So now they're kind of like, well, shit. They're like, we'll meet at the spot later, and we'll figure something out. But they also have another plan. They're like, we want that kid Mitch Kramer, and we know he does baseball. So the boys go to the baseball game to watch the junior high kids. The girls are just getting ready, to go out for that night. And what happens is the girls invite one of the freshman girls out. They're like, you were okay. You come out with us tonight. Get ready. We'll pick you up. And then the boys go to the baseball game, and they get Mitch, and they give him a paddling, Jarrett, like a Simpsons paddling, if you know what I mean, in a traumatizing scene. And then Jason London, like Pink, he's like, you know what, kid? He's like, that was kind of rough. He's like, I'll drive you home. And then he's like, you can come out with us tonight. And then that's what sets up the movie, is that you have the two freshmen, one girl, one boy, going to go hang out with the high schoolers for that night and kind of be a fly on the wall of what's going on. So they pick up that kid, and then all of our guys meet at the rec room where they play pool and pinball and stuff. And that, Jarrett, is where we get introduced to Wooderson, Matthew McConaughey, because he picks up Pink, and then they go pick up Mitch, Wiley Wiggins, and that's where we get some of the McConaughey lines to start.
And what does he say?
Say, you got a joint, man? He says, nah, dude. He says, it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
What else does he say?
Like at the rec room?
Oh, just like when he's driving or arriving at the Emporium. Wherever it is, I think they're going. I think it's the Emporium, right?
Well, I know his line's outside the front, but he's talking about working for the city.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Which
he says things are all right.
Yeah, he goes all right. All right. And there's even a third all right in there, Jared. You know what I mean?
Did you mention Joey Lauren Adams?
I did, yeah, Simone.
Chasing Amy.
Yes. And so, yeah, her, Jason London, Ben Affleck, you know, they all got scooped up by that
The Big
that
Smith.
Kevin Smith, the Big Smith appeal. Yeah, she's not in it a lot actually, because she's like Pink's girlfriend, but they're kind of like, she's like, want to hang out later? He's like, see you at the place. Let's not make any hard plans, kind of thing. And you go, oh, all right. Pink's figuring out his stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention, before they leave high school, the football coaches give Pink that thing that's just like, if you want to play for us, no drugs or alcohol. And he doesn't like it, man. He's like, I don't want to sign my life away, man. I'm going to play ball. It's going to be on my terms. That's how he says it. So they go to the rec hall, and then they're all hanging out, and that's where you get some McConaughey lines, you know, his opinions on high school girls, Jarrett, which everybody knows about. I don't need to repeat it, I don't think, but
well, you should, for the record. It is the Criterion Creeps podcast.
Well, to quote Wooderson, you know what I like about high school girls, man? I get older, they stay the same age. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Your name and
that's Wooderson,
to the
played by Matthew McConaughey.
The microphone, please.
In the film Dazed and Confused.
Okay.
But he also has, so that's I mean, that is much problematic nowadays. But I don't think there's a line from a movie I've heard more, like, just random people say, like, in passing, like at parties and stuff like that, than that line. I've heard that from 100 different people.
You hang out with a lot of cool people.
I mean, it's not even people I hang out with. It's just people that are in the vicinity that I'm around. Like, people just say that line.
Curious.
But the one good thing about McConaughey's character is he's got I like that scene where they enter the rec hall and Hurricane is playing.
Oh yeah,
it's cool, man. It's cool.
Yep.
So they hang out there, and Mitch is hanging
song.
out. Hurricane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bob Dylan, baby. It's good stuff. The music, all the music's good in this. I had this soundtrack when I was growing up.
Both good soundtracks?
Stuff. Yes. Yep.
More? You mean, you see it? You had Dazed and Confused and more of Dazed and Confused?
I do. I think so. I think my brother had one and I had the other, and we shared.
Okay.
So I had the Spawn soundtrack.
Yeah. Damn right.
That was, damn right.
Did you have the Judgment Night soundtrack is the question.
No. Unfortunately.
Look at you failing all over the place. Oh, sorry. Even more Dazed and Confused.
Mm-hmm.
Which had such classics as Free Ride by the Edgar Winter Group, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Alice Cooper, Living in the USA by the Steve Miller Band, Never Been Any Reason by Head West, Why Can't We Be Friends by War, Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts, Right Place, Wrong Time by Dr. John, Bolognese by ZZ Top.
Oh, yeah.
Lord Have Mercy on My Soul by the Black Oak, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. I Just Want to Make Love to You by Foghat. Show Me the Way by Peter Frampton. And Do You Feel Like We Do by Peter Frampton. That's a double dip.
Lot of good Frampton in this one.
Okay.
Frampton comes alive at night, baby.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite track of Dazed and Confused, where it's like it's the one that you'd like when you're skipping through your album, your CD, you'd go back to let it play a second time?
That I would play a second time?
Mm-hmm. Think about it. You only get one shot at this.
Let me think, okay? Because there is an answer, and I know it. I just got to look up what the actual.
All I know is that kind of toward the end of the movie, when Tuesday's Gone by Leonard Skinner kicks in, I go, "Hey, it's the song from the end of Happy Gilmore."
Oh. So Tuesday's Gone would actually be like the one that sticks out the most, I think, because of Happy Gilmore also, where I go, oh, nice. I was like, it's in both of these. I'd say it's kind of a toss-up between Love Hurts.
Oh, I think that's like one of the greatest pop songs ever written, RJ. All versions, even when Rob Zombie does it.
Oh, well, maybe not quite.
He uses it in music.
When he uses
in Halloween 2.
It.
Well, he doesn't sample it. Someone else sings it.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I think I got to go with Love Hurts.
Nice.
That's going to be my pick. But Tuesday's Gone is very nice, and but it is Happy Gilmore song, I think, more than anything. So, yeah, great soundtrack. I listened to it a lot. Like I said, the VHS of this in my house got played frequently.
Do you have it in gold dust right now?
It could be in gold dust. That VHS, man, it's not going anywhere.
That's CD.
The CD? Oh, no, I don't have the CD in gold dust. The VHS could be in there.
Okay.
The VHS could be. But, yeah, it's good stuff. Good songs. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so they're all hanging out. And then McConaughey gets a second party set up, and the junior high boys are at a dance, and then they paddle one of them. They find him, and Ben Affleck's got a vendetta because when he tried to get one of those boys earlier, the mom pulled a shotgun on him. Humorous scene. And then the junior high boys are like, let's get that guy. He sucks. So they put an elaborate ruse up, and they trick Ben Affleck, and they get back at him in a comical way, Jarrett. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's comical, some would say. And then they're going to the party out in the fields, which is something I did in high school quite a bit, because in high school you got nowhere else to go, so you find like a gravel pit or a field somewhere on the north side.
Quarry.
Yeah, we would go to the gravel pit a lot.
Or the ruins.
The ruins? We didn't go to the ruins, but we frequented a lot of gravel pits.
What about the cemetery?
Yeah, we did actually once or twice. Yeah, because people didn't drive by on the north side one.
Right.
So we'd go hang out in our cars there. So you go there, and they're all hanging out, and they all have fun. And you see some stuff like Nicky Cat is there, and he beats up a dude.
Well, Nicky Cat v. Adam Goldberg.
Goldberg.
Which it's like sometimes you might later on be like, wait, is that Adam Goldberg or is that Nicky Cat in a movie?
It's hard to tell.
For a second, and then you realize, no, they're completely different people.
Yep.
But sometimes
you can't tell.
Yeah.
So you get some high school hostility. You get some high school flirting. Things are happening. People are having fun. Romance is starting. And then some people go home, and some people can't leave. And then our main man, Pink, McConaughey, and a few others go to the football field to have some beers and smoke a doob on the 50-yard line. And their plan is they're staying up because in the morning they're just going to drive to go get some Aerosmith tickets, Jarrett. The cops come. They find him. Coach comes and says, I'm awful disappointed in you boys. And Pink goes, I might play ball, but I'll never sign that contract. Or I'll never sign that. And then Tuesday's gone. They go on the road to get Aerosmith tickets. And then our boy Wiley Wiggins, he met a nice girl. He had the night of his life, Jarrett. He was with the high school kids. He felt cool. He felt powerful. He goes home and his mom says, that was your one free pass, buddy. One free pass. And he goes to bed when the sun rises, and it's about 24 hours after. And that's it, man. It's Dazed and Confused. Right?
That's it?
Well, I mean, that's the overall story.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah.
So I said before, but I've seen this movie many, many times. I love Dazed and Confused. I know some of it is...
I thought you hate because you hate watched it.
You thought I hate watched it?
That's what I assumed this whole time.
Yes, yeah. No, I love this movie, man. I know some of it's a little problematic in today's day and age, but this is a movie that I watched so much when I was younger. Like, I could have annoyed Andrea this whole time, and like I know all the words to this thing. I can just say them as they're happening. I couldn't do it now, but like when I get the cues of what like where the characters are, it just comes back to me, and I remember all the words. I love all the characters. I like the high school experience. Like I know people really try to glamorize the high school experience, which I don't think is the I don't love that idea, but I know why people do it, and it's because it's a universal experience where it's like most people have gone through high school, but then after that, people's lives change, and there's a lot of similar like things that people do, but like everyone has, or most people, except for the few people who like drop out, but they were there for a while. Most people have had the high school experience, so I think that's the reason it gets like it gets used so much because I think it's a universal thing where it's like people, it doesn't matter which group you were in, you can relate to this in somehow, whether you're the nerds, the jocks, or the stoners or something. Like you'll fit yourself in somewhere. But yeah, I forced a lot of my friends to watch this movie because I liked it so much, and my brother forced me to watch this movie because he liked it, and that's kind of where it started. But I also I love the characters. I love the dialogue in this too. Like I think some of the stuff in here is like, I don't know what it is. It seems very natural. And then when I was watching that like making of documentary, the actors are saying that like Richard Linklater like would read lines with them, and he'd be like, "Well, what do you guys think?" And they'd be like, "This is my first acting job, man. Like I have no idea. Like what do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, I want it to sound like you." He's like, "Is this something you would say?" So I think this movie feels very natural in that sense, where Richard Linklater was kind of like, he's like, "You say whatever you want, man." He's like, "These are the lines we want you to say, but like if you feel like there's something you should say or you can say it differently, like go for it." Which I think is very cool. Because Linklater is just like that kind of guy. But there's lines in this movie that I think are super funny. Like I really like Adam Goldberg's line where he's talking about like not wanting to be a lawyer, and they're like, "Well, what do you want to do, man?" And he's like, "I want to dance." And it's just like he says it like real powerful. He's like, "I want to dance." I think that's I don't know why. I think that's my favorite line in this movie. That or the one you sent me is like, "You cool?" Or talk about wasting beers. And McConaughey, one line I do like of his a lot that I think isn't problematic is when he pulls up to the nerd car and he's talking to the like beast. He's like, "You need a ride?" And she's in the driver's seat of a car already. He's like, "You need a ride out there?" And she's like, "I'm good, man." He's like, "Well, that's all right." He's like, "These guys you with aren't very good." He's like, "That's your decision, man. We talk about that later, but it'd be cooler if you came out with us." I don't know what it is, but the way he says it is it's funny. I just like that he asks her if she wants a ride as she's driving a car already.
Well, she might want to ride.
She might want to ride so she doesn't have to drive anymore. There's
a lot of drunk driving.
Oh yes,
on display.
Well, they're drinking beers at like 10 in the morning in the back of that truck, like when they drive to the junior high. But it's mentioned they're the football players; they can do whatever they feel like. But I mean, all of them just drunk drive.
It's Texas.
It's Texas. I think one of my favorite, one of my favorite scenes in this movie, just in general, is when it's like near the end of the night and. There's the guys that have like their lawn chairs in like the beds of their truck, and Benny, the redheaded guy, he like goes to stand up, and he like gets kind of shaky, and he just sits back down, and he just sits back down. I really like that. I don't know why. I think I relate to that or something. Like I've had that experience a few times where it's like you stand up, you think you're okay, and then you go, you know what? I'm just going to remove myself from this situation here. I'm going to sit back down.
Yeah, there's a lack of vomiting in this film.
Well, we don't see the vomiting,
yeah,
but I'm sure there is some vomiting at play. Somewhere, somehow. I'm sure there was vomiting. But
between the panels.
Between the panels. Off panel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Dazed and Confused is awesome. This is one of my favorite movies. Like, and I know that's probably like cliche or something like that, but I think this movie is actually just like it's incredibly well done. I think it feels very natural, and it's so. I think there's a reason it has lasted as long as it has, kind of thing. I don't know. It's good. It's good stuff. I like it. And then one of the other taglines, not the "See It with a Bud," but the poster on IMDb, it's like the blue clouds with all the guys on it, which is what the VHS looked like.
Yeah.
Says, "It was the last day of school in 1976, a time they'd never forget. If only they could remember."
Far out, man.
Far out, man. And see, that's the thing too. Like the stoner stuff. Like I wasn't like that guy, so like I never really related to that. But I liked that they all hung out together. You know, I thought that was neat. I thought that was a neat thing that they did. So yeah, I think it's a cool show. I like it a lot. I don't know if you will be a huge fan of it or not, but I think it's a good movie. So I'm interested to hear, J-Dog, what you think years later on whether you think that this is a movie that is effective or not.
Do you hear it, RJ?
What?
Do you hear it in the distance? It's coming closer, though. That's the rain. It's the rain coming to fall on your parade.
You're not a fan?
Okay, so
I that's fine.
Okay,
you can have your opinions,
allow me to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a movie that I've seen a handful of times. The first time I watched it, kind of in the throes of Richard Linklater fandom. So I guess I would have probably watched. I've never seen Tape, but I've seen Waking Life, which I would have rented on DVD, and I've never actually seen The Newton Boys either. So I've kind of like avoided a lot of the stuff, but I do, on the other hand, I love the before movies. Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight, I believe it was. Yeah, that's it. Those movies I think are like fantastic, amazing. It's been a while since I've watched them. I'm always afraid to revisit this stuff because I'm like, maybe it won't work the next time I watch it. Slacker is sort of like this, working out the kinks and like kind of an experimental film. And then Dazed and Confused is just like this big movie that I just totally had avoided when it came out. And it just didn't seem like a movie that related to my experience growing up or anything that I cared about in high school. I think you were saying, I'm not a fan of high school. Like the way it gets mythologized. And for some people, it becomes the entire cornerstone of their personality, where years later, years pass, and they go, oh man, those are the best years of our lives. And this movie really typifies that in a way that I've never been crazy about. So I will say, though, the first time I watched it, I really did like the movie. I thought, oh, that was really good. And then when I watched it the second time, like I said, 7 years ago or so, I found it really depressing.
So I saw your review of that, and you can say it, but I think I have some insight for you on that.
So let me pull it up here because I want to get it exactly right for the record. It's very important to me. I wrote, I've always found this movie really depressing. I guess I must have thought about it earlier than that. So that was from date. April 2015, so 7 years ago.
Oh,
I've always found this movie really depressing because the characters only have an Aerosmith concert to look forward to. Then it is all downhill from there.
So, just to jump in for a second, in the making of, Richard Linklater says that's intentional, and he said he's like, a lot of people like kind of like you said, like they like praise this stuff, and he's like, but I didn't really want to show that. He's like, I wanted to kind of show it's like, yeah, a lot of people like idolize high school, but after that, like there's not much there. And he's like, and that's kind of the goal of the Aerosmith thing, is like they're going after the Aerosmith tickets. He's like, but after that, they have nothing. And he's like, and that was the intent. He's like, this is supposed to be a sad movie. He's like, high school shouldn't be the peak for people. So like what you're kind of saying, like that's the intent of this movie, I think, from what Richard Linklater has said. Were you a fan at all of Detroit Rock City? Which is like another, which is another piece of the 70s
but by way of the 1990s comedies about people. But this one's actually about going to the concert, like the Kiss concert.
I do like that movie. I also own that on VHS, but I mean, I think Dazed and Confused is better. But I like Detroit Rock City. Yeah.
Okay.
Last I watched it, but that was like probably 10 years ago.
That's a movie I really don't like.
Okay.
Much at all, even though it's got one of my boys, Giuseppe Andrews. Who's gone on to make some great films of his own. But was it Sam Huntington, or there's like the one like the
Just
very
that.
stonery guy in the movie, with the long hair and the toque. But maybe he's the one that doesn't have. He's not blue.
Yeah,
so he's not going to pop up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I don't remember who these people are. Anyways, so that's a movie that I was just like, nah, I'm not really into this. And the whole stoner thing is, again, not my thing. And it really comes down to, like, I even pull up the poster, the original iconic cover, be it the poster at the video store, the DVD, the VHS tape with the, like, kind of purple and green clouds. And, like, the font's terrible. And it's got that fucking, that smiley face that, like, I hate it. And these characters, like, I don't know. It doesn't actually, it looks off, even looking at it right now. Because there's, Pothead Kid, Mila Jovovich, and then there's Pink and Overalls. And they're just like, oh, man, high school, am I right?
I mean, high school is pretty crazy, Jared. You ever seen Varsity Blues?
Oh, yeah. There's another one of my favorites.
It's pretty crazy.
But that was a very commercially successful poster, because a lot of other movies at that same time were like going for that look. Look at Dance Me Outside. Has like the exact same image. Smoke signals. You have your characters, your principals. You're trying to appeal to young people, and this is like kind of like comedy / drama. But this is more on the comedy side. Which, for a comedy, RJ, I don't really laugh much at all watching this. No,
that's too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, watching it a third time. Again, I don't mind watching this movie. It's really easy to watch, but it's just not one of those movies that, I mean, I'll probably, unless I'm going to do a rewatch of Richard Linklater movies, I wouldn't watch this ever probably again. But no, not because it's like a bad movie or anything like that. It's just kind of like,
it's just not for you.
It's not for me. But I've got some notes for you. I got some things I've got to get out there. Did you notice one of the production companies for this film is Alphaville Films?
I did not.
No.
Is that a Alphaville, the French film? That one?
You know what another Alphaville film is?
No.
Tombstone.
Ooh.
And most importantly, RJ, The Mummy.
Oh, both great films. Great films.
And
Sam Sanchez loves those.
Mallrats.
Oh, yes. I mean, that makes sense.
But now, earlier you'd mentioned something about Jason London. He's not in any Kevin Smith film.
Is it? So who is in
You're
Mallrats? Is it
Jeremy
London?
Jeremy London.
Are they twins?
They could be.
I think they Jason London, Jeremy London. I think they have to be twins.
His twin brother.
Yeah. See, I always get them confused.
So did their mom.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but they're twins. So, you know,
Alphaville Films, Rat Race.
Oh, wicked movie.
Most recently, apparently, Alphaville Films is still kicking around as like a production company. Pet Sematary from 2019.
Oh no.
John Carpenter's Village of the Damned. I'm just pulling out some highlights.
Oh.
Michael, directed by Nora Ephron.
Like John Travolta.
Travolta.
Oh baby, that's good. That's good stuff.
Pootie Tang. You know Pootie Tang?
I do.
Yeah.
I've heard the rumors.
There you go. So, Alphaville. I saw that and went, hey, Criterion Connection. And just so it's clear, I didn't get RJ to do the the introduction to the film because he's such a fan of the movie, which I did know. But I did it because this kind of completes now the trilogy of appearances of Ben Affleck in the Criterion Collection, going back as far as Armageddon and Chasing Amy, and now here with Dazed and Confused.
Completes the trilogy so far.
So far.
So far, we should say. So far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day, BVS.
Oh, that Rage Edition. You know what Spine 2000 is going to be? Oh, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, that's going to be the Rage Edition.
Note here, RJ, Aerosmith or Miles Davis?
Miles Davis.
Okay, good.
I am not a big Aerosmith guy. For so someone that's close to me, like a year or two ago,
someone close to you.
I don't want to out them, but they were like, they're like, oh yeah, my favorite band's Aerosmith, and I looked at them, I was like, what? I was like, I've known you for a very long time. I have never heard you listen to Aerosmith in your entire life. What do you mean your favorite band is Aerosmith? And they're like, I just like Aerosmith. They're my favorite band. I was like, that doesn't check. That doesn't check out. And like, I don't mind Aerosmith, but I've never been a big Aerosmith guy. Like, there are way more bands at that era that are a lot better than Aerosmith, I think. But yeah, it threw me for a big loop. I was like, what? I was like, what do you mean your favorite band is Aerosmith? I was like, that doesn't check out. It's bizarre. Very bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
So obviously there is something about the 1990s fascination with the 1970s.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you were like but a child during that period of time, but this was a real thing. Yeah, it was a total embrace.
I mean,
in middle school and high school, everybody was like pseudo hippies.
I think it's no different than what's happening now. People are obsessed with the 90s, right?
Well,
like,
hey, the
Woody Allen thing.
The Woody Allen thing. I was going
to say that movie Midnight in Paris?
Oh, I'm aware. Yeah. But that's like decades. That's like, 1920s to the 2000s. But what I was thinking, though, was in the 80s, though, it was the 1950s. And I think the 1950s actually like has obviously been fetishized by a lot of it's very political. But it is interesting the 90s were really fascinated with the 70s. And now it's looking back to the 90s, be it in a TV show like Yellow Jackets or mid-90s most recently. And
or anything.
Anything. Everything is.
Yeah. Everything's 90s now.
Everything's 90s.
Yeah.
But they still want the 80s too.
They want that too. Yeah. Hey, you know what's one thing I forgot to mention? So a guy I work with today, I think I've mentioned before, regrettably, he knows I do this podcast, which I try not to tell people. But he's like, what's the movie tonight? I was like, Dazed and Confused. And he's like, oh, he's like, I'm coming on. And I was like, you don't want to.
No.
But he was like, I love that movie. He's like, and he brought something up that I've always noticed, and I actually ruined this movie for Andrea. She watched it with me on Sunday, but I was like, you know, it's a drinking game we used to do when I was in college. Have you noticed? You know, Mitch Kramer, Wiley Wiggins. Have you noticed that he does this gesture a lot? He touches the the bridge of his nose.
Okay.
Once you notice this, you can't unsee it, and he does it in every scene that he's in. So if you like, I'm not a drinking game guy, but
this is kind of the risk of grabbing boys off the street and putting them in your movie.
He's not an actor, but like if you never noticed before, but you know now when you go watch this movie, I swear to God, he does this. He touches the bridge of his nose in every single scene he's in, sometimes 2 or 3 times in the scene. So I think it's like, I can't remember the count. It's something like 45 times or something that he touches the bridge of his nose. Okay. It's wild.
So have you seen Waking Life?
No.
Okay. So he's the main character in that. And he's like
no longer an actor.
He's the Wanderer. I wonder if he's still touching the bridge of his nose. But another movie that he's in that I think is actually worth people's time to check out is Computer Chess from
that sounds cool.
From 2013. It's very lo-fi movie. It's 19. Sorry, and again, this is a fascination with the 80s in 2018 or 2013. A 1980 set story centered around a man versus machine chess tournament.
War games.
War games.
Essentially. Yeah, that dude. He's like a coder or something now. Like he's not an actor or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, his thing in that documentary was really sad because it was like the old version of him, but he was like when he was younger, he's like, this is so much. He's like, I'm having a lot of fun. He's like, this is a great summer. And then when he's older, he's like, yeah, I didn't really even want to be an actor. I just got picked off the street. And he's like, and then Nicky Cat convinced me to move to LA. And it was one of the worst decisions I've ever had. And he was like, I was living in this bad apartment. I couldn't get roles. Nothing ever worked. And he's like, and then he said something like he ended up like doing the title credits for like porn or something. It was like his job for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, that's
classic Cat.
Classic Nicky Cat. Yeah. Hey, Jarrett, did you know that the word man is said 203 times in this movie?
I believe it, man.
Man. Did you also know that the beer drunk by most of the cast, excluding minors, was real beer?
Oh.
Jason London refused to drink on set.
Wow.
Apparently.
Damn. So some classic Linklater isms.
Oh, yeah.
This is like it's dialed down in this compared to Slacker, but you get like the Abe Lincoln sex dream. Yep. You get the pop culture contemplation about Gilligan's Island. That's again some 90s-ness right there.
Very 90s, yeah.
Mm-hmm. My next note though here is hazing. So
yes.
Yeah, this like entire process is something that I remember as a elementary kid or junior high. I can't remember where exactly, but my dad would talk about initiation a lot, and he was like talking about it like, oh, it's going to happen, and like, oh yeah, you just don't, just like, you might as well just get it over with because they'll just get you worse. Like, and he would talk about this because he apparently was living the Dazed and Confused life. Yeah. But by the time that like I was going through this period of time when it would be happening, it was done. It wasn't a thing.
I'll say it may have been done when you went through for a short period, but when
What's that?
I said it may have been done when you went through.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
It was done. It was done. Like, it was like not a thing anymore.
So it was done when you went through.
No,
but only a couple years later. Wait, you're saying it was done, right?
It was finished. Like, it wasn't done anymore. Like, it was a practice that had passed.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is it may have been done when you went through. Okay. But when I went through it was back.
I see.
It was a thing again. So a couple years later, it came back. Is what I'm trying. Is what I'm saying.
I see. Well, the confusion was done. It was being done when you were going to school. Yeah. I kept like, no, it wasn't being done then. It was finished.
I meant done is finished. Yeah. So what I'm saying is it came back. It came back.
It came back until cool.
And then the police got him.
Yeah. Because they want to be like, I want to live like, that's what we need more of.
I mean, those dudes exist though, and they go in.
And I imagine that there's probably people. I mean, because this is like right around this period of time. So Todd Phillips, director of Joker, he made a documentary about hazing. In colleges. That was controversial because I think it was for HBO. Mm-hmm. And I mean, so obviously. It was escalating in some places, but maybe not in grade school.
Oh, yeah, maybe not there, but...
Frat House is the name of the documentary from 1998.
Oh, well, the frat houses were really bad because they were doing, like... I know this is going to not to equate atrocities, but, like, what frat houses were doing made paddling look like tame. Because they were doing really bad stuff.
It's like, it's sexual assault.
They were just raping dudes.
Yeah.
Which was
pretty much
very bad.
Because it's like, oh, what? I'm just inserting this into a man's rectum. It's like, under coercion, you say.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was bad.
That was getting out of hand, and it still happens. It pops its head up here and there
Once in a while.
Yeah, and then you're like, what's up with this? What's with cruelty, RJ? Why are people horrible? So anyway,
people love violence.
And this is like, so there's like that whole scene where the boys, the new seniors who are like who might arguably, at least O'Bannon, the Ben Affleck character, he's been waiting for this. And because he's already got to do this once before.
Yep.
And now he's excited because he's having to repeat the 12th grade.
Yes.
And he gets to paddle people still.
Yes. Well, and that's what he's saying. Like, Linklater was saying that, like, he's the main antagonist, but it's not a self-aware, but it's like the movie itself is aware of that, and because they all make fun of O'Banion, they're like, well, he's fucking repeating grade 12, so it's like, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. And then there's I can't remember where it happens or what the line is. I believe it's I think it's the coach actually, or one of the assistant coaches talking about you boys chasing Muff.
Oh yes, I got a good screen.
You got a good. I'm glad you're on that.
Yeah, I'm on it.
And then then at this point we get introduced to Ben Affleck, thug.
Yes, yeah, thug chasing Muff, thugs.
No.
There's all sorts of stuff like that.
And then
Ben Affleck's first line is, "You boys want to bust ass," which is good stuff.
Yeah. So we get the junior high teacher who's like laughing about the threats of initiation, the hazing. Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, they're going to get beat up," because that's hilarious.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and then but then you find out he's also a vet. And he talks about it's like when you're being, because I think the kids are like asking him to like help him or help them, and
they want to get let out early.
Yeah, to give him advantages. He's like, well, I had a sergeant that told us that 50 of you are going into the jungle and only 25 of you are coming out, and then he just kind of like turns around and goes back to his desk, and you go, thanks, adult, thanks.
He goes,
what happened?
Different time, Jarrett.
Well, once people leave the classroom, my responsibility ends, and they get. And the children can abuse each other. I'll sit here and read the newspaper.
You wash your hands of it.
Yeah, wash your hands of it. I made some note here too about look at these radical teachers back in the 70s, because there's like one of the high school teachers is like finishing up their talk, talking and making some political statements. About the man sending people off to die, and they don't care about you. You're like, man, oh man, it's just. I
mean, those people existed in the 70s.
Exactly. Teachers say lots of stuff, and there's no one like to police it, because the students, for the most part, kind of go, I don't know. Adults are kind of like, they get to say stuff and they say things. Once in a while they get called out on it, and then it really backfires quick on them. But I mean, I went through school, and there was teachers, you were just like, in hindsight, you go, I don't think teachers were ever allowed to do that or say that or get away with the things that they did. But that's
not for us.
Yeah. Nowadays, I mean, with smartphones. But they still
different time, Jarrett.
They still say shit, I'm sure.
Who, teachers?
No.
Probably not two kids too much. Those guys get fired.
No.
I think. They're always in the news.
Yeah, always in the news, showing them movies. Wasn't it that one teacher in the US who was showing them was it like VHS 2?
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I think they were facing criminal charges.
What? Why?
Because it's like degenerate cinema or something like that.
Oh my god!
I gotta find this here. VHS. See, the problem is you type in VHS US teacher, it's very general.
Yeah. The only movie that's supposed to be shown in schools is Osmosis Jones. We talked about this like last week. Osmosis Jones. It's the only movie you show. The only one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The only one.
The only one.
But tell me what else you think.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find that news story. I can't remember if it was VHS or something just like, it was like a horror anthology.
Yeah.
It might have even been on Netflix.
Could have been.
Because it's like, oh, I wanted to show you this bit for the Spanish, and then there was other things in the film. But you're like, it's on Netflix, and it wasn't like elementary school. It was like, I think it was high school. America, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
So we also get the girls hazing, which is more about just like, it's all about humiliation.
Yep.
And but this one's kind of a little bit more. There's not the physical abuse.
No, it's just humiliation.
Yeah, but I guess it's like a group activity, so like everyone's getting it equally, but it's still garbage.
Yes.
No. And then you have Parker Posey, who's again like the other villain of the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She seems to really relish in the cruelty.
Yes. And they were saying that like a lot of that was kind of her, like her spin on it, or like the lines where she didn't improv a lot, but they were just kind of like, no, she like, we didn't expect her to go that hard, and they're like, and she did, and it worked.
Maybe she was one of those people, or she was imagining the worst person she's ever met.
I think she said that she was bullied in high school, and that's what the bullies did to her or something. It was one of those situations.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So she's like, I know what it's like, because she's like, this is what happened to me. Something like that.
But yeah, so like the hazing initiation stuff takes up a good chunk of the first half of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Because then you get the hunting, where they're hunting junior high boys with wood paddles to like beat them. And I'm not exactly sure what the end goal was. It's like there's some very reckless driving without seatbelts on.
Oh, Jarrett.
People are bouncing up and down.
Seatbelts? Come on.
Seatbelts. I know.
It's the 70s. It's a different time. They didn't wear seatbelts back then.
I'll mention that to Ralph Nader.
What happened to Nader?
He's the one who made it so seatbelts became the law.
Well, he was a square. If I ever saw one.
He was a square, but you know what? Mm-hmm. He's probably saved your life and you don't even realize it.
Well, maybe. Potentially. I'm still not voting for him, though.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, then we get a montage.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, there's a couple montages.
Yeah, there's a big montage, though. It's like when everyone's getting ready. It's before
a good one.
It's before the baseball game.
Yep.
And then there's the baseball game. And this is where I make the note, that's a paddling.
That's a paddling. I love the commentary there. It's hazing. Because they're just, heckling that kid.
And they're like, we're going to beat you after this. And then there's an entire, like, arena of all these witnesses and all these people. Well, and you're just like, I guess, it's going to happen. It's going to go down. But then, and then it does go down, and my note is pretty vile. And it's just like, I'm like, man, because it does play out like a rape scene in a parking lot. Oh, yeah. But it's like, they're just beating his ass with a paddle. And he's like sobbing, and you're like, just left alone to his own devices. His friends took off, his junior high friends who have a car, apparently. Mm-hmm.
Well, they asked him to stay so that they could get away.
Yes.
They're like, they're going to get you anyways. But hey, it's the same thing your dad said. He's like, it's going to come for you. So all those adults in the field, they're like, hey, it's just, we can't stop it.
It's Texas,
It's Texas. It's
everywhere. It's everywhere.
So apparently Mitch couldn't play baseball, so they had he couldn't even throw a baseball. So they had to get a stunt double in to throw the baseball for when he was doing those pitching scenes.
Hollywood magic.
Yeah. Just so you know.
And then, of course, I do have your favorite line in the movie, RJ, with Adam Goldberg talking about he's about being honest about being a misanthrope.
Oh, yeah.
And then he says, what do you want to do then? And he goes,
I want to dance.
There you go.
I love how he brings his hands down. Oh, it's the best. It's good.
Yeah, it's cinema.
I love that scene because he's true to himself. He's writing his own narrative, Jarrett.
Do you have any favorite Adam Goldberg performances outside of this film?
I'd have to look.
He's around.
I mean, Adam Goldberg's in lots.
He's in all,
Zodiac, Saving Private Ryan. He's good in Saving Private Ryan, actually. Who could forget him in Nancy Drew?
The Jim Gaffigan Show.
Oh yeah. Who could forget him in Babe, Pig in the City? Homeward Bound 2? That movie's sad as fuck. Who could forget him in The Hebrew Hammer? Remember The Hebrew Hammer?
I do. I do remember The Hebrew Hammer. I've seen it.
What about The Hebrew Hammer versus Hitler? Have you seen that one?
No.
It's a title on Letterboxd, so apparently it's a real thing.
Damn.
Giancarlo Esposito? Dave Foley? What? Richard Kind? What? I don't know. All right, whatever.
What? All right. And then we get another paddling. The one that's like the boys who abandoned him. He gets beaten down.
Yeah.
by Ben Affleck. And then another car shows up. They have a bunch of beers in the trunk. And at this point the party's been canceled.
Yep.
And then at some point we got was it Wooderson? Is that the
McConaughey?
Yeah.
Yeah, McConaughey's Wooderson.
Yeah, so he has shown up. And of course, yes, we get the line. The one that everyone loves.
Do it.
Oh, I'm good. You've already said it for the record. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Everyone will know.
Do the all right one.
No. I hate it.
I didn't say it.
I hate it.
Okay.
It's
fine.
It's cornball at this point.
What about Livin? Living.
Yeah. We get the Emporium scene, and which, like, again, that's like the next segment where everyone's kind of coming together because they're like, this is the pre-party because they're trying to like a regrouping at the pool hall. Did you have an Emporium growing up, RJ?
So, what was that one? It was like past our high schools. Do you remember? It was like Rainbow Rec.
Was that still open when you were?
No, it was. It was open for like a year, like when I was coming up, but I never went. But that was the one, Rainbow Rec.
Kind of. Yeah, it was. I mean it was dingy. I played a lot of arcade at the Emporium, but I don't know if there was a lot of. It was like, I don't know, adults were there
At Rainbow Rec.
Yeah, I think. I'm thinking more like bowling alleys, I guess, would be the equivalent. But I don't know. I never went to those either. I went to a comic book store and played cards. That's what I was doing, having a good time. You're a mega nerd. Eating Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
Drinking Dr. Pepper.
Ooh, Dr. Pepper's good.
Playing D&D, RJ.
Ooh, yeah. Well, as I mentioned, we didn't have a spot. We just went to like gravel pits to hang out.
Yeah, threw bowling balls through the back of windows, smashing mailboxes.
It's a federal offense to tamper with someone's mail.
Yeah, you know it's also a federal offense? Trying to shoot and kill children.
Not in his eyes.
Not in Texas.
I paid for the beer man. Mm-hmm. And then that's good stuff. It's good stuff.
No. Yeah, the bluff and the gas station guy. That guy's not very good at his job.
Well, I mean, I like the build up to that where he's like where Wiley Wiggins is scared and that guy's like, I'm just fucking with him. He's like, we're gonna pay for the beer, but then he's like, it's good. It's a good boy prank because it's wholesome because you pretend like you steal it, but you didn't. You actually paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Yeah, and then we get the paint that gets dumped on our boy
Big Ben.
Yeah. Ben.
Yeah, just some white paint.
Yeah, his rage out because he's a very angry man.
We had a word for that. Started with an S.
Oh.
And then the next letter was a P. And then an A and a Z.
Curious. Don't know what that translates to.
No, neither did I.
But so yeah, then everyone convenes to the I don't know, the outdoor party.
Yep. Yeah, to the gravel pits they go.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They're just out there and drinking as that's like it's gonna be a whole summer of that, I guess. But usually there is kind of a break apart though, because people like go on vacation. And then they're gone for weeks on end and going on RV trips and they sometimes you see each other or you hang out the whole time.
That's why it's the big one, because it's the last day, everyone's still in town, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep. I've been there.
Do you remember your safe grad, RJ?
I do remember my safe grad.
Do you think about it every day?
No, but I was the last one out.
Nice.
Well, because they would bus you up one at a time, and I was in one of the last buses.
Oh, RJ.
One day.
So was I.
Yeah, but how many
What?
fedoras were in that bus?
None.
Only several?
No, there was no fedoras back in that period of time.
Not yet.
There were.
You wish
they
you
were.
had.
I mean, until I saw them online, I went, "I want to get me some of these."
You said,
I'm gonna be a real gentleman.
You said, "Where's the bulk buy button?"
Yeah,
Milady.
You know, Amazon wasn't even really a thing yet, and if it was, they were only selling books.
Just books?
You know what I'm saying?
No fedoras?
Bezos books. Imagine that decision if that had come to pass.
Is that what he wanted it to be?
Maybe.
What about Freddy Fedora?
Wow. I mean, better edit that out. That's a good one.
It's like Dan Flashes. You saw the Dan Flashes, right? And I Think You Should Leave?
Yes.
Yeah. They're so complicated. It's my exact style.
You know. Oh yeah, we get Adam Goldberg v. Nikki Cat.
Yep. Which is it's a really sad scene because you feel bad for Adam Goldberg, you know?
It's about what you'd expect though for a man who's never been in a fight in his life against a angry, violent person.
I like his logic where he's like 2 punches, mob mentality comes in and they take, or not mob, but he's like they come and take over, and then he gets a punch in and then no one moves and he's like,
Have you ever been Goldberg in the sense that like you were like walking by somebody and you might have made a comment and then that person heard and then they start going, "What did you say to me?"
Not me, but a friend of mine did, and then I got punched in the head because of it.
Aw, what a good friend you are.
Well, I mean, I was like, the guy I was with, he was just drunk, and he didn't say anything bad. He was like falling over himself, and some guy's like, "Hey, get out of here," or not get out of here. He was just like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "I'm leaving," and then the guy tried to fight him, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I was like, "Relax," and then some other dude. Not even that guy. Some other dude punched me in the head, and I fell over. That's my story. I was just trying to stop the fight. I was like, whoa.
That's pretty
I was
good.
like, chill, baby. I was like, everyone relax. Nothing bad happened here. And then they got me. I fell over right away. I didn't take it like a champ. I was...
out.
I mean, I wasn't unconscious.
Well,
I got up, but I fell right over. Boom.
Yeah, I mean... when you get punched in the head, you don't think for no reason, you don't see coming. You're just like, well, okay. Well, not much you're going to do about that.
The guy claimed he was a Golden Glove boxer, which I still don't know what that means, but
that's the thing. It's a level of boxer, but I'm not. I mean, that guy who hit you.
Yeah, that's what what they said.
That's bullshit.
That's what they said.
That guy should know better.
I mean, I don't know. All I know is I opened my eyes and I was on the fucking ground. So
yeah, sounds like he's a piece of shit. Is what he is.
I got his name. If you want it, I'll tell you off air. I can tell you who he was. Maybe you know him.
Oh, good. It's possible.
Yeah, it sounds. No, I can't. Say
no, don't. Yeah, no. Leave it. Let it be. Let it be. All I know is that I guess I have a laugh that sometimes angers some people.
Oh yeah,
and because it sounds like I'm laughing at them.
At them,
and sometimes if the mood strikes them, they get angry. And I find out about it afterwards, saying, "Oh yeah, they were really mad at you. Like they really want to like beat you up." I go, "What?" It's like, what's fucking wrong with them? That never happens.
Yeah,
it's like people just need to get like I don't know, get a clue.
Get a clue. You should tell them that.
Get a clue. But I don't even know what's happening.
No, I know, and people rarely do. People never know that. Like other people are like, "Man, you were a real prick," and I was like, "What?" You're like, "I was." You're like, "I thought that guy was the prick," and they're like, "No, you're a prick," and you go,
"Oh yeah." Well, I mean,
okay.
They just let us know in the YouTube comments now. That's what happens here in our world.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, my final note really is just there's the party, and then there's the end music of Happy Gilmore, and then the wastoids go to the football field and the police are pricks because they always are, and then the coach comes and he's a prick because football people, and the kid's like, screw you, man, I don't need your rules, and you're like, okay, that's.
And Jarrett went like this,
yeah, I shot my Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club fingerless gloves hand into the air and went, yeah, victory, and
I got him.
Yeah, and if like, you know, Pink and Simone have a relationship, it's non-existent. It's just.
I mean, I think that's kind of the point.
I guess. Yeah. It's just there, and I don't know. Yeah. But then the movie ends with Mitch going home after sunup, and his mom's lying in wait in the kitchen. I don't know. You never see Parker Posey really again. There's no story. There's no plot. It's kind of just incidents, and it's a hangout movie, as one Quentin Tarantino would call it.
Yeah, you got to watch it with a bud.
You know about? Well, yeah, it's you hang out, bud.
Yeah, you got to watch it with a bud. So Quentin Tarantino, big fan.
Big fan. Quentin Tarantino included on his list of the 10 greatest films of all time. Nice. In 2002. Yeah, okay. I'm sure that's changed at this point. In 2003, Entertainment Weekly ranked the film number 17 on its list of the top 50 cult films. Third on its list of 50 best high school movies. 10th on its funniest movies of the past 25 years list. I don't get it. I don't know. It's not that funny of a movie. I mean, come on. Come on.
For some people it is.
Come on. And ranked at number 6 on its The Cult 25, the essential left field movie hit since 1983. Were you aware, RJ, that in October 2004, 3 of Linklater's former classmates from Huntsville High School, whose surnames are Wooderson, Slater, and Floyd, filed a defamation lawsuit against Linklater, claiming to be the basis for the similarly named characters on the film? The lawsuit was filed in New Mexico rather than Texas because New Mexico has a longer statute of limitations. The suit was subsequently dismissed.
So did they settle, or it was dismissed?
It was just tossed out of court.
Okay.
Bullshit. Were you aware, RJ, that in 2012 Matthew McConaughey reprised his role as Wooderson in the Butch Walker and the Black Widow's music video Synthesizers?
It's one of the things I think about daily.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I love that.
And RJ, did you make time to watch Linklater's spiritual sequel this week?
I have seen it before.
Oh.
Everybody Wants Some. I've seen that film before. Did you watch it this week?
I did watch Everybody Wants Some.
Tell me what you think. Because I watched it a couple of years ago, and I remember what I thought about it, but what did you think about it?
I think this movie sucks.
Yes, I agree. It is not good, hey?
It's bad.
I agree, and I'm a guy who likes Dazed and Confused. And I don't like Everybody Wants Some. It's not great.
Yeah, I don't know. I think these guys suck a lot.
Yeah.
Like these characters are bad. Like this makes Dazed and Confused so much better in comparison. But like I don't even get it. Like I get that these dudes so they're all like older than they should be. Because they're 23, 24 years old. These are supposed to be undergrad, like, you know, first years.
They're in college,
and like they don't look like first year college students whatsoever. Like there's supposed to be some that are older because they've been around for a while, because they're still in their fourth year and they're still college ball players. But like, was it Blake Jenner is like the main guy, Jake Bradford, and he's
the same name,
Bradford, but like he just. These dudes all look like male models.
Yeah. Kurt Russell's son's in that too.
Which one?
Wyatt Russell.
Oh.
He's like the laid back. He's like the one good character in that movie.
Yeah, the best character in it, I suppose.
The only guy that's not a complete piece of shit.
Well, Justin Street kind of plays Kip Dynamite essentially.
Yeah.
He's like, I almost got drafted to the Blue Jays. That character. Yeah, so I watched this movie kind of being like, we'll give it a shot. But even like, I don't know, Richard Linklater, maybe his best years are behind him.
Could be.
You know what I'm
Could
saying?
be. I know.
Well, I mean, Before Midnight maybe was the peak. Boyhood is like okay. Everybody wants them though. Is like fuck this, and it's long. And I don't think it even starts to come together till the very end. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, oh, this is starting to feel right, but it looks and feels kind of on the cheap side. The actors just seem totally wrong. Everything that club or there's like 3 different bars that they wind up at, and it just seems like they are on sound stages. Like they don't feel like real locations like they had previously. The music is the exact same kind of like game. Like, oh, let's use like music from 1980 instead of 1976, and people love it. And we'll jump around, but the guys are like super gross too. Like, not like in this like appealing way at all. Just like you're just like, ugh. Like I hate these dudes. They're nasty ass, greasy jocks.
Yeah, well, and that was what I thought too. Like, because I think I watched that with Andrew too, and we were both like, it's like it's just focusing on the jock guys, but none of them are likable jocks. Even it's like they all suck. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't like Everybody Wants Some that much. I mean, it's none of the good stuff at Dazed and Confused.
3 stars from RJ.
Yeah, when did I watch that movie though? Because that was a long time ago.
Was that a polite 3?
Probably. I watched that 5 years ago.
Okay.
So my ratings have changed, and I watched it almost. If we recorded this 5 days from now, it would have been exactly 5 years ago.
Look at this.
Look at the confluence, Jarrett. No. The confluence.
It's like poetry.
Yeah, it does something. Not sure what though. So yeah.
You want to tell me about who hates this film, RJ?
Sure, I can. Let's see here. We got Samo 131. Half a star.
Oh shit.
If any of my other reviews mention the movie being the worst thing I've ever watched, it is a lie, because this truly is the most I've ever struggled to finish a movie out of pure hatred and frustration. Absolutely mind-boggling that the whole premise of this movie is teens being in rural Austin, having nothing better to do than to terrorize each other. Also, Matthew is a literal predator in this, so I cannot get on board for him. I saw a fun fact on the trivia that although Matthew McConaughey plays an older predator, he was younger than a lot of the female actresses in the high school, so that made it okay, allegedly.
Well, I can't get on board with Samo 131.
Oh dear, what's their deal?
Well, I'm just pulling up their films. They don't have favorites, sadly. You really dropped the ball on that one.
Damn.
But see, 5-star films include Arrival and School of Rock, another Richard Linklater film.
Oh yes.
But they are fans of Parasite, Interstellar, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Booksmart, RJ. Half stars include only Dazed and Confused.
Only?
Damn. At 1 star, What's Your Number and Destination Wedding.
Damn. Wow. This person, I don't know what they want. I don't know what they want in a film, Jarrett.
I don't know. I was going to say about Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah.
Something, but now I'm blanked out again. Maybe you'll have to say Matthew McConaughey later, and it'll make you go, of course. Oh, have you ever watched his broadcast debut on Unsolved Mysteries?
Yes, I have.
Good.
I've seen that, yeah.
I'm glad.
You can super edit that in here.
Okay.
And there it is. Okay, yeah, amazing.
Tell me more about who hates Dazed and Confused.
Okay, I'm going down to here to a half a star review from India.
Okay. The country?
Apparently the whole country, the entire country of India watched this film and made a review.
Shit.
I cannot believe anybody actually thinks this film is good and just say they like it to seem like an edgy stoner. Not only is it boring, but it's just grim. This is the type of film 14-year-olds come over skins watch.
Well, I'm not going to be coming over India's Letterboxd profile.
Oh, good.
Favorite films include Good Time, The Worst Person in the World, Her, The Lighthouse. Those are all very new movies.
Yes.
And
yes, they are.
I think almost all A24. Take a look at the old diary.
Oh, let's see what's in the old diary there, Jarrett.
Let's take a gander here. Half stars. They have 3 films in half stars, RJ.
Oh.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Sausage Party.
Oh.
Call Me by Your Name.
Oh my God.
1 star, Blue Velvet.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Wild. This is crazy.
You're seeing the other side of it, huh?
Yeah, the other side. I like it.
All right, I got another one for you. This is kind of closer to the bottom of the page from Sergio.
Ooh.
It's still a half a star.
Yep.
On the first page, but Sergio. Why did the 90s have such a boner for the 70s? I'm usually all for period movies. Some are great, but I don't know. This one doesn't do it for me. It's always lets over glorify the decade with things that weren't as crazy. It's always with every fucking decade movie. Ideally, if they made a sequel, the characters are probably dead. Or they became hardcore conservatives considering they're all baby boomers. LOL. That's what they said.
Okay. Well, I don't have a boner over Sergio's profile. Favorite films include True Stories, The Blues Brothers, The Exorcist 3, and The Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh.
Other 5-star films include Jackass Forever.
Oh.
What Dreams May Come. Pig. The Wrong Guy.
Oh, damn.
Paris is Burning. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember? You were like, why is it called that? The Great Muppet Caper.
Ooh.
Straight Story. Now you want to hear about some half-star movies.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, let's see here. Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Bohemian Rhapsody. Mallrats. Old by old M. Night.
Yeah.
Okay. Jurassic World. Doom.
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Uh-huh.
Oh, come on, RJ. This is going to upset you.
Uh-oh.
Stuck on You.
Oh, come on. Okay. That movie's not bad.
Okay, that doesn't matter because that movie is not good. But you know what movie does not deserve half a star?
Which one?
The Toxic Avenger.
No, that's a good show.
It's good. It's a great show.
That's a good show.
Oh, man, this guy, it's not your guy, RJ. 50-50?
That movie's great. You still haven't seen that, right?
I have not seen it. It's not my thing, probably, but it's better if I don't watch it for you.
Yeah, that's a good show.
It seems like if Seth Rogen's in this movie, then Sergio is not a fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
too bad for him. Okay, I got one more for you. It's on the 3rd page of half-star reviews.
3rd page? Give me a second. Gotta give me a second. Okay.
All of page 2.
Okay, go for it. Name.
Yeah. The name is Eating Like a Kid, and their picture is Mickey Mouse.
Okay, I see it.
So
it's like Mickey Mouse is saying this.
It's like Mickey Mouse is saying this. Half a star. It sucks ass.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Mickey Mouse being sheepish, like kind of like, oh, I'm gonna saying that. Favorite films, RJ. I don't know if Eating Like a Kid sucks ass or not, but
yeah.
Favorite films include Catch Me If You Can, Back to the Future, Django Unchained, Boogie Nights, and we're gonna go into the films,
into the depths,
wade into the pool of filth. And half-star reviews include, well, Dazed and Confused, Justice League, and Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Bold.
One of those
5-star movies. It's those 4 movies already mentioned, but She's Out of My League and Back to the Future 2.
Oh, interesting. The second one, hey?
Nope.
Damn. Wild. So I'm scrolling through. There's like 5 pages of half-star reviews, but pretty much every one of them is talking about. It says rape movie, but McConaughey is my dad. Or something. That's what a lot of them have said. And it's like McConaughey rapey, but I still love him. But half-star, and it's like very strange.
I mean,
very strange.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all these reviews are. But I don't know. I didn't say anything great.
Okay.
So any last words, Jarrett, on Dazed and Confused?
Wow. I mean, what can be said that hasn't already been said? I am more phased and bemused.
Phased and bemused?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's too bad that it doesn't hit for you, but it's not surprising because, people have different experiences in high school.
And I'm dead inside.
And you're dead inside. This movie works for me for a few reasons, because I fit into many of those groups, and I watched this movie when I was a little kid, and I liked it. Maybe that's why I did fit into certain groups. I don't know. Maybe this movie did. Maybe this movie was the real friend all along.
Or not.
That's also a potential thing.
Movies can't be your friend.
Well,
they're not
some
real.
movies could.
They're not real.
Oh. Is anything real, Jarrett?
I mean, if you've been listening to this podcast for long enough, you would know the answer.
Damn.
The answer is no. No, they're not. Nothing's real.
Damn.
Stop listening.